I said it once, I said it twice, and I'm gonna say it a third time. Who's actually thinking about seriously having a daughter in 2020 and beyond in today's society, where we have artists like Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion that are able to come out with a video putting praise on their box and their use box, to put it nicely, and it gets promoted heavily all over the news, all over the media. They're treated like celebrities and they're not held accountable for the damage and destruction that they're doing on the young females and young males' minds that are growing up in the future generations moving forward. Now, before we get into this article that was put out by The Guardian, I want to share with you some of the lyrics to this song, just to give you an idea, if you've never heard of this song, what exactly is being promoted and what is being pushed out, and why we have so many single mothers, and why 90% of single parent households are mothers. And honestly, the young women that are growing up that are listening to this music come from single mother households. And I say that unapologetically, and I say that from experience. No father, and I mean no father, in his right mind will share this music directly to his daughter growing up, unless there is a female that is heavily influencing this beta male's life and pouring her thoughts and her ideologies and her music into his life and the daughter's life. That's the only way I can see a father actually sharing this kind of music and playing this music around his daughter. But besides that, no male that has a daughter is sharing this music. So let's just listen to some of the lyrics. If you've never heard this song before, I didn't watch the video or anything, but I know there's a pretty raunchy video that came out. I'm just gonna share with you some of the lyrics. So she says, hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. That punani is wet, come take a dive. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage, which we all know is cap. Obviously, she doesn't have a little garage. That thing's probably just massive down there, especially since she worked her way up from being a stripper. You're not fooling anyone. And then she also says, pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet A punani. No high value male's ever going to put his lips anywhere near you in general, and especially not near that smelly fish box. If he eat my A, he's a bottom feeder. Big D stand for big demeanor. I can make you bust before I ever meet ya. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this ring. So basically what she's saying here is, all I have to offer to you as a man is this wet box, which is not even wet, which is not even a little garage like she says. It's been used, it's been ran through, it's been abused, but she won't tell you these things because she had to work her way up. Like she said also in the lyrics, she said it herself. She said, I spit on his mic and now he's trying to sign me. So if you spit on his mic and now he's trying to sign you, and we know you started off as a stripper and you worked your way up into the music industry and you were signed, how do you still have a little garage and how do you still have a wet pee if it's been ran through by all these executive producers, all these guys that can break you into mainstream music? And then instead of being a good influence and a good role model, well, you don't know how to, because clearly you have Jezebel spirit in you and a succubus spirit and you're being used by the devil. You instead promote being a hoe, which in turn creates generations upon generations of future females that grow up being a hoe. And what really gets me is this article that we're about to read. I'm going to skim through it. I don't want to read all of it, but it's put out by The Guardian. You know, that's a pretty big publishing company. They have a lot of influence. And this title is ridiculous, guys. It says, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's Wet AP should be celebrated, not scolded. The hit collaboration between the two rappers has become a belated song of the summer, empowering women and enraging prudes along the way. I guess you're a prude for having some moral compass and some moral values. You see, guys, we're living in the end of times. And I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, we're living in the end of times. We're living in the very beginning of the end of the times. Visually, the message is about women enjoying and women celebrating being sexy. Female response has largely been overwhelmingly positive since its premiere on August 7th. Christina Aguilera posted a photo of herself saying the song, quote, made her feel some type of way, end quote, because she can relate to being a used up thought that made it into the music industry. and doesn't give a care about the younger generations that she's affecting by putting out and promoting this music, instead of taking a stand for morality and taking a stand for making women great again. Instead, let's shame men that try to correct this behavior and try to bring back, maybe family units and maybe feminine women, maybe women that aren't so hypersexualized. But you know what? Men like this get shamed. Men that speak out about this don't ever go viral. Men that speak out about this are put away and quickly dismissed and actually even canceled. When in fact, a lot of you guys that say I have misogynistic tendencies or I talk about women in a certain type of way, I actually care about women, or I wouldn't be making a video like this. I don't have a daughter, but I do have a sister. And my young sister is heavily influenced by music like this. She is 11 years old, and when music like this goes trending on YouTube, she has a YouTube account, she has a Snapchat. Kids at earlier ages have social media. They're able to have access to this kind of content. And when I see artists like this being promoted heavily, I have an issue with this, especially being from multi-cultures. I know the effect it has on someone that's like my sister, that's a minority, that sees these two artists and sees that, hey, these women are just kind of like, they look like me, and they've made it to the top, and they have all the success, they have money, they have fast cars, and they have this glamorous lifestyle. So what did they do to get there? And these women here are promoting being promiscuous, being disgusting in order to work their way up, and quite frankly take advantage of men. We've had Cardi B, who's a mother, talk about drugging wealthy men and then taking their money, stealing from them, working her way up. But then instead of correcting this behavior, we have major news outlets who are controlled by the elites that love to feed into this and promote it, because it further divides the country, it further divides the family unit. Once you break up the family unit, you have access to more and more people to influence and to destroy, especially when you remove the father. That's the number one thing they're after. Halle Berry tweeted, oh, that's a great role model. She went out to her car to enjoy the song away from her children. Well, that should show you that's a red flag right there. If you had to go away from your children to enjoy a song, at least you didn't listen to it around your children. But it's women like this, Christina Aguilera, Halle Berry. These are not role model type of women. These are not women that women should aspire to be. But the media continues to promote and uplift these types of women because it feeds their agenda and it destroys the family unit. Viola Davis retweeted a video of how to Get Away with Murder character Annalise Keating dancing to the song, and even reposted a Photoshop version of herself in the cameo of Kylie Jenner. Others like Remy Ma, Azealia Banks, Halsey, JoJo have all publicly voiced their support. They're all feminists. These are all feminists, and the number one thing about feminists, and a lot of you guys already know this, feminists have been ran through, guys. And when I say feminists have been ran through, I'm talking about Brandon Jacobs in his 2010 prime on the New York Giants couldn't even compete with how many times these women have been ran through. No cap. Like, they're running through men during their career, and they're promoting it. And we see how they turn out. They have mental illness. They can't sleep without drugs, guys. They can't sleep good at night because they constantly are promoting this lifestyle and this hypersexualization of women. And instead, in return, all it creates is further division. All right, so let me chill out. Still, the backlash was almost immediate. Scores of people took to the internet to defame the women for celebrating their genitalia and coital desires in a manner not reserved for male rappers or singers. Republican pundits and politicians called it disgusting and vile and claimed it's what happens when children are raised without God. Duh. How is that offensive to people? Oh, well, I know how it's offensive, but I'm saying they're telling the truth, guys. This is what happens. Ever since the 1960s, and I'm going to get into this right now. Ever since the 1960s, we've had sexual liberation through feminism. So we have all this liberation sexually, and then on top of that, we remove God from the schools. We remove any sense of a moral compass. And this is what happens. This is what it creates. Disgusting, vile, nasty females. And listen, if you want to live your life like this as a woman, hey, more power to you. Do not expect to get married. Do not expect to have a high value man ever wait and line up for you in the future. Do not expect to have any sympathy once you do hit the wall, and once you get illnesses and diseases and you're passed around and you're looked upon as a promiscuous woman, because these are the same women that get mad at men when we sexualize them and we think about them only for sex, when they are, in fact, they can only sell their music based off of. But oh wait, you can't talk about it as a man because you're a man, and you can't talk about it. Only we can sexualize ourselves. You see, guys, it doesn't add up. Ben Shapiro went viral after reciting the lyrics, calling it vulgar, which I did happen to see. That was hilarious. He would later tweet that his wife, a doctor, had diagnosed the rappers with a slew of vaginal illnesses or issues, including yeast infections or trichomoniasis, as though arousal was foreign enough for her to treat it as a sexually transmitted infection. And also, a lot of these women have telegony, all right? And that is they have so many men's seed inside them. I'm trying to tell you guys, they have so many men's seeds up inside them. All these different male characteristics start to come out. This is why music like this is coming out, because those male seeds, all the male personalities that are in them, all that male energy has to eventually come out. And it comes out through their music, it comes out through their body language, it comes out through how they act. This is what happens, guys. With all things considered, in the midst of an unprecedented pandemic, an unmitigated economic disaster looming, and an upcoming presidential election with climate change hanging constantly in the background, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion enjoying promiscuous intercourse should be the least of concerns in the world. Let women enjoy arousal, consensual, and the song WAP. You know what? I agree. Let them enjoy the song, but don't expect a man of substance, a man of high value, a man of character, a man of morals, a good, quote unquote, good man to ever get with you. Ever. To ever even be in your presence. Don't expect this. Don't expect to ever land a man when you've given yourself away. And once again, we have the news never holding women accountable, because you know what? It's always men's faults. It's always our faults when we try to hold women accountable. And women should be free to talk about whatever they want and influence the youth coming up and influence young women and create a whole nother slew of single mothers and just further this problem. Guys, this is why so many men have decided to just go their own way. This is why a lot of men are taking the red pill in masses and just completely checking out, and just understanding women for what they are, and understanding now that we've given women freedom to see what they're all about, and we've given them this opportunity to reveal their true colors. Now that we start to see what they're actually about, we realize that they are increasingly, they're extremely sexual. Check out my video, women are more polygamous, all right? So this is something that has always been there, but now we're starting to really get into it, and it's hitting mainstream and no one's holding them accountable. So what we'll see is more and more generations of women in the future being destroyed, more and more family units being destroyed. It's really disgusting, unfortunate, and I fear for my little sister growing up in a generation like this. I fear if you have any young siblings, any daughters, unfortunately, they will be heavily influenced by this media, and they can see that it's the fastest way to money is promoting your body, is promoting, but they don't talk about the long-term consequences of this. And women don't tend to think long-term and realize that their actions right now will have consequences later on in life. They don't like to bring that up because it holds them accountable, and it makes them think about what their choices are, and think about the choices that I make now to hyper myself, to put myself out there, whether it's an OnlyFans or premium Snapchat, that can come back and affect me for the rest of my life moving forward. Whether it's with a husband, whether it's with the job, whether it's with friends, family, whatever it is, this can affect you forever. And listen, as long as this is out there and being promoted, I'm completely checked out. I don't promote this stuff. If you have any friends that promote this kind of stuff, that listen to it, think it's funny, you got to cut them off. If you have any daughters, you should better not be letting her listen to this. I'm telling you guys, don't be a fool. So I'll end on this note. This is definitely the elite's plan to further destroy the family unit so they have easier access to us as men and individuals in general, men and women, because once they destroy the father and they get the father out of the household, that's how you break up the whole system within a family. That's how you break up and divide a country. So they're actually doing a pretty good job of doing this. And when you have major news outlets that are promoting this kind of stuff, it just shows you the type of the time we're living in is really corrupt. And this is definitely controlled all by Satan. This is the devil's work. And these are the same media companies that promote BLM, that promote all these pro-racial and inclusion things. But at the same time, when they promote music like this, it destroys minorities, it destroys communities of whether it's you're black, whether you're Hispanic, whatever it is. I represent both sides. It destroys that unit, and it's promoted and praised because on the surface it looks like it's a good thing, but underneath it's actually racist, and it's actually promoting racial division. All right, so I wanted to put that out there. Understand what's going on, understand moving forward that obviously the left is in control. Obviously Satan has a good grip on this country. What can we do about it? We can continue to pray for the country. We can continue to be on our purpose. We can continue to focus on ourselves. But moving forward, I'm a little bit nervous for what is to come, especially since we have no accountability ever. Even when something like this, which can be considered mild prawn, can be put out and not judged at all. It's unfortunate. Drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, check out more of my videos, and we need to share this message, guys, because I'm fearing that the future is looking a little bleak right now. All right, but it's up to you guys as men to make a change, to not promote this stuff, to not let your siblings, whoever it is, listen to this kind of music, and to correct them as soon as you see any type of thoughting behavior or any type of horse behavior. You need to correct it and nip it in the bud as soon as it happens. All right, love you guys. Have a good one.